Here we go.
Hello, my name is Ren. I'm here for Scott's Menswear, talking to my friend Sam. How do you do?
I do good. Do you know what it is? I'm actually in a pretty good headspace right now. More so than I have been the whole way through lockdown.
Feeling hopeful?
Yeah, last year, at the end of last year, I fell into a bit of a hole emotionally, and I'm glad that this year I'm not so much.
What would you say is like the main thing that like switched your mindset to feeling good and positive?
I think I started getting up at a reasonable time in the morning. Like like my sleeping pattern last year was so all over the place, and this year like get up at like 7:30 every morning.
So you say that's like the main thing that's in?
Yeah, I think that's impacted my life.
Sleep hygiene, man.
Yeah, like it's actually so much more important than you think. Like I really think that I think that if you can crack your sleeping pattern, like a lot of stuff can fall into place, and if you get a structure in place, as you said, like it really makes a difference to your health in every aspect and like how you feel. But I do think like this lockdown was the hardest to get my head around, because the first one, it was in the summer, so that it was warm. The second one, like Christmas was coming round, so you're like, oh yeah, being a bit more hopeful for Christmas. This one, I struggled with the most at the start, because it was like, you know, like there's nothing to look forward to now. Like we're coming up to a whole year of this. And this
ages,
is like,
man. We've been like a year. Like,
and this is this is probably, last year was meant to be like one of the most important career-wise years of my life, and it didn't really. It was kind of not forgettable, because all the stuff that I put out I really meant, and all the stuff that happened I was like, yeah, it's great. But you know, like things would have been different.
Have you been able to like compartmentalize that alright and deal with it alright, sort of yourself?
Yeah. Sometimes like every day is different, man. Like I want to be like, I wish I could be positive every day.
It's hard if you're that ambitious.
Yeah, like, and I am. Like I want to be like, larger than life. That's my goal, and it has been for ages. I want to be like as big as I possibly can, like with my career, like in music and everything else I do. And like I think it's just like I just feel like it was ripped away from me, and like a lot of stuff was ripped away from me and everyone else last year, and that's why it's like you can't really complain about it too much.
I know that you, because from what I've known from you telling me, and from what I've seen in bits and bobs you've talked about on YouTube, like you had a little bit of a hard time when you first started singing in school, because of how the kids. How was that? Because it would be interesting for people who are like maybe in the same position themselves. How was it going from a place of like starting music and being a bit teased by the kids to moving from that place to being like an established artist who like sells out concerts and stuff? Like, how was that journey?
It's quite hard to talk about actually, because like it was really hard, man. Like it was really hard, like growing up and being like you know, you're not doing anything wrong, and like, and you always you're just trying to express yourself. And like I've always been like, as a person, always sort of like, because I come from a proper countryside, like people are so afraid of little things that are different. And I've always embraced them. And like my parents were really, like my dad was always like, you know, you should always express your emotions, and he always did with me, which is great. And my mum's always supported me. But like going into school and like having little times like that where you're like, you really question it, and you're at such an impressionable age that you'll actually believe it. And I just think to myself like, right, I can do this now, because it's kind of acceptable. And I did get a lot of stuff, man. I did got a lot of from people that would try and tell people that
came from you though, right? That perseverance, just to be like, you know what? No matter what these kids like, what I'm just gonna do.
And now they all of them will tell you every single every single person, all of those people. If you were to say to them, do you know Sam? They'd say yeah, but they don't know me at all. And they haven't known me for a long time. So as soon as I could leave school, I left, and like and I didn't look back. like my music teacher was amazing. Her name was Kerry. Everyone else, teachers, everyone, none of them helped me, and I probably would never go back to that school again, unless it was to help my my music teacher, because she was awesome. But like going from that to now, where I'm in a place where I can literally, I could sing in front of anyone, any amount of people, no problem. And this is like I'm saying it straight to the camera. If you're a person like me and you've come from a place where people don't want you to express yourself, you have to fight through it. Otherwise, you will be very sad for the rest of your life. You need to try out everything. You need to make sure that there's no stone left unturned, like in life, because you will get to an age where you regret it. And I'm so glad that I don't now. But I did get to an age like 14, 15. I was like, I could have spent that time getting better, but I didn't. And now I have taken advantage of what's been given to me, and I'm very privileged. And a lot of stuff that you do and we do, and I'm sure you'll agree, is by chance. Like you can't write a script for blowing up and becoming famous, or not famous, but you know what I mean, like becoming successful or your career goals being achieved. You have to just work for it, and sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. But the thing is, the chances are, the harder you work, the more chance that something will happen from that, because you're just constantly grinding, and that's it, man. I didn't start writing music until I was about 16, but for those 2 years from 14 to 16, I'd say that was so important, because I started looking for music that I related to, and like.
That's cool, man, because I think I met you when you were like 16.
Yeah, you found me at a time when I started busking, and I couldn't play the guitar then. My dad had got me a guitar, but I was resenting playing it, because I was like, God, I hate my dad. Don't want to play the guitar he got me, but no, but because after a while it meant so much. And,
that was a moment, man. I remember the first day that I walked past and saw you on the street. That was like I think when you're so into that world, you've got quite a good compass of being like, that person's got that little thing about them that you don't know what it is, but it's like, if that person carries on doing this, they're going to do really well, because they've got that little spark, And I remember walking past you and seeing you sitting on the street, and I was like, this kid's going to do something
special. There's videos of that, man. And do you know what? I treasure those, because it's like, what are the chances of that? Like, our whole trajectory of our life would be completely different. We literally wouldn't be here if we hadn't given up busking at that specific time.
Because I remember seeing your face when you started, like, when I was like, just plug in. Gave him this amp, and I was like, just plug in. Then you started singing, and then like the whole street stopped, and it was just so good to see your face, like, reacting to the fact that everyone was just like in awe of you singing, and like it was so nice to be able to see that. And what was
really special about that is that like I hadn't really had that moment yet. I'd had people say nice things and comments, and my mum had said a few nice things, but that day, like, I made some money from busking that I didn't think was possible, and I looked at you as like an older brother, and I kept up to date with each other until I got to an age where we were more similar.
Until it wouldn't be weird for me to hang out with a 16-year-old boy.
Yeah, basically.
I think the mad thing that other people don't know about all that time as well is that it was all, like, when we were like bringing our covers out and stuff, that was just because we were on the street and we're like, what songs do we know together?
Yeah.
And we were like,
none of them were rehearsed, nothing we ever did was
all very
like
that organic and like.
Yeah, like, I'm really, really glad that all happened, and it was massively important to me.
Cool, thanks for coming and talking to me on these
weird things.
Flight cases.
No problem, man, I loved it.